Today on the Diz List, we discuss Walt Disney World's new Lightning Lane Premier Pass. Do you hear that, Nick?
It's spooky season. Welcome to the Diz List, the podcast that lists everything in Walt Disney World. I'm Nick.
And I'm Rob, and I wonder how many people hit the skip button on that.
This is not the right podcast.
Well, yeah, I spent a lot of time making that last year.
Right.
And as you walked in, I said, remember the Halloween theme? I added the Halloween theme today.
Well, it makes sense. This will be coming out right around Halloween.
Yeah.
So
Well,
we did dark rides
Yep.
already in the month of October, so might as well throw in some Halloween music too.
Yeah.
Speaking of Halloween, Disney decided to jump the shark. I don't know how that transition has anything to do with anything.
Sure.
I just wanted to.
Hey, it works. Well, sharks,
no,
maybe Jaws?
They dressed up as the Fonz for Halloween and jumped
That's
the
good.
shark this week.
That's good. I like the Fonz. I convinced my niece that Zac Efron was the Fonz. It's a long story, but she bought this picture of, it's a funny one. She bought this picture of Zac Efron wearing a leather jacket, and she opened it for Christmas, and I said, hey, that's the Fonz. She goes, who's the Fonz? And my family started laughing, and I convinced her that Zac Efron was the Fonz. So just funny little quick Fonz story.
So this week, Disney kind of doubled down on the let's nickel and dime our fan base to death.
Yeah.
And like at some point, somebody has to be like, stop. You literally are jumping the shark at this point.
I feel like this was such a thing with the previous regime administration. Okay,
Yeah.
The other Bob, right?
Yes.
I feel like this stuff happened a lot, and we would roll our eyes and say, this again, huh? And I guess I'm a little surprised, because I know it's not necessarily Bob Iger's idea, but I don't know. And I'm sure this announcement that we're going to talk about today, this Premier Pass, I'm sure this was premeditated. And they knew before they even launched this thing that it was going to come out eventually. We can discuss this before we really get into the Premier Pass. The timing is interesting too. Did you notice that with their friends down the road? Did you think about that?
So yes, I did. I've got a lot to say about this. I just don't usually they're going blow for blow with Universal's announcements in a good way.
Yeah.
This is like, hey, we are going to raise prices all at the same time that the park down the road is opening early.
Yeah.
Or earlier than expected.
Yeah.
I mean, and don't forget, you're going to pay for this Premier Pass, and at least at our Premier Park, have less things to do because we're shutting down a Premier ride for a year.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
A whole year.
Which is one of the rides when we did our March Madness. Oh, I can't say that, can I? Do I have to bleep that out?
We're good.
I can't say Super Bowl either. Do we have to bleep that out too?
We're not supposed to.
I know. When we did our March Madness,
Yeah.
I'll get back to the point
Yeah.
here. I'm going off on tangents today. I know that. But Thunder Mountain, which was one of our 4 finalists, right,
Yes.
is now going to be offline for a full year. Refurbishment, sure, but they're also going to, I'm curious, another aside, which I think is kind of a cool one. I wonder what our listeners think about this too. Do you think that Big Thunder Mountain is going to change, number one? Number two, is it going to interact at all with anything related to cars? Like, will it go over the track? Will there be a bridge? So, 2-part question. Is it going to change? And then if the answer is yes, how does it interact?
So I will say that I do think we should have our Patreon this week. Let's have that discussion fully.
Great, let's do it.
But I think that the reason that the shutdown is going to be so long is because of the fact they've got to get some way to get around Big Thunder to kind of make that loop possible.
Yeah.
Because the reality is that's like one of, if not the only, dead end in Magic Kingdom.
That's true. We talked about that.
So
we sort of have the discussion where areas in the Walt Disney World parks where you can just kind of walk and stop and it's a dead end. And I think the only one, when we discussed this at work the other day, think we should have been recording, but I think the only one was if you kind of go straight back to Tower of Terror and the other like Lightning McQueen stage show, which is changing soon. Trying to think of other spots because back kind of in the Muppet Courtyard there, that now loops around. Mm-hmm. So we're talking about Hollywood Studios.
Even Galaxy's Edge is one big giant loop.
That's true. Epcot is the easiest. I mean, it's open. There really aren't any dead ends there at all.
Not now. The old walls are open.
Not at all. And Animal Kingdom, not really. I mean, those are all just big loops too. So
except for like if you go out to Rafiki's Planet Watch.
Yeah, but
that's a whole other.
Yeah,
that's a different.
Well, I mean, let's compare that to Tom Sawyer's Island. If you're Planet Watch, you're taking separate transportation out to something not connected to everything else, and that's the same kind of thing with Tom Sawyer's Island and the fortress and all that. So they're fixing that as well.
Yeah,
all interesting things to really think about, and this is the stuff I love and you love is all this speculation. So Disney is now given us, the stamp of approval. This is going to happen. It's not just blue sky that we've been getting for a long time. So now we can really kind of predict and say, what's going to happen here? I'm just curious,
Yeah, it is curious and it is interesting, and the timing of these announcements that they made this past week or so have made me really wonder what's going through their heads, right? So I wonder if the VIP tours are down. If because why introduce this new Premier Pass? I mean, I know the why is like money. I get that.
Yeah.
But
there is a certain small chunk of the population that is so excited about this.
Oh,
I'm not part of that group. I wish I was part of that group. If you're new to the show, Nick and I are both teachers.
Yeah, we are not part of the group paying $449 per day per person at Magic Kingdom.
Right. And if you are, that's fine. No judgment. Everyone works for what they work for, right? All we're saying is I would say the vast majority of Disney guests kind of are landing in that lower middle range. So for me, looking at that number, especially the Magic Kingdom number, we can get to specifics later on in the show, but looking at those numbers, I'm just like, dang, that's the PG version of what's going on in my head right now. It's cool. I wish I could do it.
My confusion is like, there's so many layers to my confusion. So I think the first layer is the restriction on it. So you can't even purchase this unless you stay at a deluxe resort.
Yeah, I want to do that list here too.
So basically, all the resorts that get the extended evening hours are the resorts at which you must stay in order to get this perk, or in order to be able to purchase this perk. So I'm really confused. If it were really about money, they'd open that up to anybody, because why is somebody staying at all-star resorts? Why is their money different than the person staying at the deluxe? Now, I get the idea of giving a perk, but a perk to buy when like it's so exorbitantly priced that you might have actually gotten people to buy it if they stayed at All Stars, because hey, it's cheaper to stay there. I'm only like a perfect example. I'm going for the marathon. Okay, pretend I'm going for the marathon.
You're going for like a 3-day weekend.
Right. So our athletic trainer at school is going down for the marathon, for the Run Disney weekend.
Shout out to her. She's
coming
cool.
up. Yes, she is very cool.
What was her name?
Emily.
Shout out to Emily.
So she's going down. Now imagine that she's there for 4 days, 4 parks, and is like, I'm staying at All Stars. I'm doing this once. Let's just spend the money.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's just her.
You can't.
She can't.
No.
She would have to stay it's so bizarre to me that they're saying, we only want this exorbitant price from you if you've already spent the exorbitant money to stay at this resort. And you can go ahead and read off the resorts.
There's a lot, and some of them double up because they include like the villa. So if I repeat, you can say you said that one. Yeah. So we have Animal Kingdom Lodge.
Right.
We have Beach Club.
Yep.
Boardwalk. I don't know why I'm counting on my hand. Contemporary Resort, Grand Floridian, Polynesian, Wilderness Lodge, Yacht Club. Then it says like Bay Lake Tower, Boulder Ridge, like those very specific places.
All the DVCs.
But then it gets, so the DVCs, the ones I haven't mentioned thus far, Old Key West, Saratoga Springs, Riviera. And then the other eligible ones too are, well, they're not the Good Neighbors, but they are. So they're, and I can't remember what company owns these, Swan and Dolphin Reserve, Shades of Green, the military one. What is it? What do you know the name of what company owns the Swan and Dolphin?
I think it's Marriott.
It's Marriott or Hyatt, one of those. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's Marriott.
All right, you're probably correct on that too. But it's a pretty long list. Here's another question. I don't know if you know the answer to this, and I don't mean to put you on the spot on this because you're kind of a DVC guy. So if I'm renting points from you, I don't know you, but I'm renting points from you, right?
You're the reservation.
Correct.
What you're about to ask me is,
so yes,
you can buy.
So you want to explain that? I mean, you already know what my question is, so go ahead.
So like if Rob is renting points from me to stay at, a DVC resort, he is considered a somebody who's staying at that resort.
So I hold that reservation.
Correct. That reservation is your reservation.
Right.
It is not. It's in your name with my points. My name is tied to it.
Right.
I can cancel that reservation, but your name is on it. When we went to the Poly, when you showed up to your room, in your room on the TV said your family's name.
Yep.
You could purchase. You can add stuff on to that for your reservation if you had rented
Because
points.
Disney knows I'm officially using this room. Although they are your points that I rented, I'm the official person who is staying at the resort.
Correct.
So that's kind of interesting too for listeners who don't really use or know Vacation Club. And again, I say this a lot. If you are interested in us doing something that has to do with Disney Vacation Club again, always changes. This is something that Nick knows really well, and I am getting better at kind of learning how it works and the points and everything. So it's always a good conversation for me to ask him questions. And if we have listener questions, you can always send them in and we can add that into the show as well. But I figure that was kind of an aside that's directly related.
And
there's so much more to cover with this Premier Pass too.
There is. And I want to just point out before we go to halftime, because there's something that is not part of the Premier Pass that I do want to discuss that kind of you unintentionally segued me to. Okay?
Sure.
Disney announced this week a paid perks program for DVC members. So it's like Disney woke up last week.
Paid perks.
Correct. On top of the $30,000 that you paid to get in.
I haven't heard
on
any
top
of this,
of
by the way.
I know.
This is all new to me.
I am aware. On top of the dues you pay.
Okay.
We're going to add in, because, hey, we're not just going to try to bleed the average person dry. We're going to try to bleed you dry too, who comes back year after year.
Yeah. You're
So-
welcome home when you check in with your magic band.
Yeah. So the DVC they announced a DVC paid perks program. I want to pull this up here.
Okay.
So I can give you all the information.
DVC paid perks. You're already paying for your maintenance fee.
Yeah.
Is that monthly?
Well, you can.
Or
but
yearly?
I pay yearly, but you can pay monthly.
Sure.
So for the low fee, annual fee of $99.
Oof.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can get discounted. Now, they didn't say how discounted. They just said discounted. 5-day weekday tickets. So I can get discounted 5-day weekday tickets for you and up to 7 household family members. So, like, my brother and sister-in-law who went with me this past trip could not have been included in that. They would have to pay full price. And Disney knows, because when you sign up for My Disney Experience, you put your address in.
Yep.
You can buy discounted 3-day weekday tickets, and this includes access to Lightning Lane Multipass. That's kind of cool. Okay. Discounted tickets with Lightning Lane Multipass. Cool. 30-day member maker benefit. Or memory maker benefit. Like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So I'm paying $100 for the annual, and I get a 30-day memory maker.
Okay.
I mean, not for nothing, but there was a time when, guess what? That was free for DVC.
Yeah.
Oh, I get exclusive. this helps me get exclusive content or access to character meet and greets at the lounges, which, by the way, I can't go to because they don't even want my money for this. This is what I'm talking about, how this tiered. I am not a direct member.
Right.
I bought resale. So they've already tiered me to the lower class citizenship of not being a direct member through DVC. So I can't access these perks. They don't even want my $99 a year. And by the way, I wouldn't give it to them anyway.
Can I guess the last one?
Sure.
Is there one more?
Oh, I can keep going.
Is one of them, this is the funniest thing, is one of them access to exclusive photo what are those things called? The lenses? Is that on there?
It's not on there, but
it's goofy. I mean, I enjoy it, but
yeah,
I don't
so
know.
you get to get exclusive character meet and greets, priority lounge access, because now they have made it so you can't just go into the lounge. You have to have reservations to go into these lounges.
What?
So now it's priority.
Oh my God.
So you're paying so that you have the priority. Wait, I'm not done. I'm not done, Rob.
Oh my God.
Why would I be done? Why would I be this upset about it? Like
keep going. I'll
Disney Sorcerer Pass using points. So now you can use your points to buy a Disney Sorcerer Pass. Why would you do that? First of all, how about this one? Bonus one-time use points, which I can buy. Now you can get up to 12 more. So right now, like if I'm short, okay, let's say I have a reservation I want to make, and I'm 12 points short. I can call up Disney and say, hey, I don't have enough points to finish out this reservation. I would like to buy 12 one-time use points. And they will then basically charge me like as if I was renting from Disney the 12. So I have to pay $99 if I want to get 12 extras. And, don't worry, we will waive your booking transaction fee.
Okay.
But only if you book Disney Collection Resorts, which is another really dumb way to use your points.
Oh my gosh.
There's more, but I'm not going to get into it.
Yeah.
Because there's lots more.
Let me say this.
Let me just finish with this.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Mine's short.
Yeah. Mine's last week you talked about how you didn't like it when you saw YouTubers talking about ranting. We were talking about rides that closed down.
Yeah.
And you said, it is what it is. You're not one of those people who likes to do today we rant about. Well, guess what? This is rant worthy.
Yeah, it is.
You're a multi-billion-dollar a year corporation bleeding normal average Joes dry. And not that any of what they announced today or this week is about average Joes, because it's not, but it just makes our experience worse. Go ahead. Sorry.
I honestly, all I want to say is that it just makes things so much more complicated. Like, that's not what we need. And so I don't want to be too ultra negative here. And I mean, we can take us to the halftime show here, which is totally fine. And let's bring up a positive and let's talk about who has brought us to the halftime show today. But let's get into more stuff here after the break. Here, lead us into the break here.
Yeah, we will. So Rob and I are always super excited whenever we get to speak with or meet or we get a new patron. And every week we talk about how our patrons bring us the halftime show. And they really do bring us the halftime show by making this possible. But they also make possible just our joy for this. Because really, when they write us messages, when Mikey sends me a reel about Star Wars, or when Jessica will say, hey, I'm heading down and this is what I saw, or I always look forward to the stories that they tell us. And they often lead us to new and interesting experiences. So if you are interested about what Patreon membership is like, you can go to www.patreon.com/DizlessPod. You can actually sign up for free and just kind of see what's going on. You get some updates and you'll be notified when stuff is released. And then there's paid tiers that gets you early access to new episodes and bonus content every week. So, our patrons are great. We love them.
And Nick's right. Anytime we get a new patron, and we're teachers, like I said, he'll walk down to my classroom. I have 2 different rooms. He'll walk into one of them and just say, hey, we got a new patron. And every single time it becomes a discussion about A, how cool it is, and B, This is great. We have a new patron. I don't know if you can tell where they're
Yeah,
from.
I talk about where
Because to me,
we
that's
have patrons
interesting.
from Canada. We have patrons from the UK. We have patrons from all over the United States.
That is super interesting to me. Like, oh my gosh, we got a patron from the UK. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Like,
and it's just fun. It really is a fun way to keep connected too.
Yeah.
So go check it out. And by the way, the free members also, if you sign up for free, send us a message via either right there on Patreon or via Instagram, and I will add you to our close friends list, so you'll get kind of exclusive content in our stories when we post stuff. So we're gonna head off to the halftime break, and we'll see you right after this. Welcome back. This half of the show, we're going to try to be as positive as we can. There are some positives to this announcement about the Premier Pass.
And to be fair, a lot of times we will both say, I was watching so-and-so on YouTube. I don't like always mentioning this person's name, but I watch every time. But this person turns it into just an angry, negative rant. And I complain about that sometimes. So I think the best thing is we can throw our opinions in there. Obviously, it's a podcast. It's what we do. That's our point. This whole thing is opinion-based. It's a list. But I also want to just discuss it and see. Let's see if we can find some things that might be kind of fun one way or another.
Oh, I'm not going to lie to you. Like, if we had, 1,000 patrons, if we had, income from this podcast that was high enough that when we went on these trips,
we would try it.
Try it. I would make this a regular part. My time in the parks is worth a lot.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, the ability to then not worry and you could actually relax on Main Street or actually relax and take in the scenes everywhere.
Yeah.
It does make it like you're an annual pass holder, but you only go for 5 days.
So I'm going to start with let's first go over how it works, and then I want to spin a totally different opposite opinion of what we've said so far.
Okay,
I haven't even told you about this
No,
yet.
You're good.
I had this ready, and I discussed this with my wife earlier.
Okay.
Why I think I'll get to it.
Okay.
So let's kind of go over how it works for people that were kind of out of it this week, because that was me. You walked into my room and said, "Did you hear what was announced today?" I go, "What?" He goes, "Oh, it's a big one." And you explained this to me. So I'm reading this off the website, so I know I nailed it perfect. Not that you didn't.
Yep.
So with the Premier Pass, you're going to get one-time entry to each available Lightning Lane experience in one park. So that's important too. So you can only do it in, let's use Magic Kingdom. You can only do it in Magic Kingdom. So you can't zip over to Epcot and jump on Remy or something can't
Correct.
do that. Okay.
Correct.
So I want to make sure we got all the rules out of the way first. So it includes most of the in-demand attractions. Next one is ride attractions you want, when you want. You don't need to choose specific arrival times. This also kind of leads to my first point I want to get to here. You get to enjoy photo perks, which I laugh, but I'm a big photo pass guy. I love it.
You are.
I love it. Including digital downloads of select attraction photos, plus unlock Disney Photo Pass lenses, which I use, but I don't use a lot. That more is for the teen crowd, right? And that's fine. Mm-hmm. Or maybe I would say more the teen crowd than anybody else. So I have a totally different take. So would I use this? Definitely. It's cool. Your point was excellent by saying my time is valuable. It's so much easier to show up and jump on whatever I want, whenever I want, right? That obviously is the great way to go. Here's my positive spin. And I want to hear your 2 cents afterwards. Let me get through it here. What I said to my wife was, part of one of the fun things for me, okay, besides the first time I went to Disneyland and walked in and had to press the button and book everything and not get to see the castle, I'm a collector. So are you. Okay, maybe you see what I'm getting at here.
Yeah, go ahead.
When I'm buying, or when I did this summer, when I got the multi-pass, I got Lightning Lane multi-pass, part of the fun thing for me was collecting throughout the day. So if I'm standing in line, okay, I just use my Lightning Lane, I get in, Now I have the opportunity to book another one. For me, that's exciting. I log in, I go, oh, what's available? And I scroll through and I find stuff. I enjoy that part of it. Would I make that all go away if I was able to have the, let's say at Magic Kingdom, we'll say average $400 maybe. I don't know if that's average or not, but you know the numbers better than I do and you're the math guy. So would I pay that instead if I have the money? Sure, definitely. But I really enjoy using the Lightning Lane Multipass. Now, you haven't gotten to use it yet. You were right at the tail end of the previous version that I don't even remember what it was called. It was Genie Plus.
Yep.
Then it switched right before my trip, and I was really the first one to kind of experience it. I enjoy it. I liked being able to go in and modify the times. I like having two of them in my pocket, even though I'm booking one. I cannot recommend this service enough. It's a lot of fun. But now that we have this higher tier, I think part of me always knew it was coming because Universal offers this. And I think the only difference is
Universal does not offer this.
They offer
in this way.
No, I agree. But they offer the thing where you can.
Yes,
it's similar. It's similar. But then they won't let you get on ride A or ride B.
Remind me again how you can get it for free at Universal?
You can stay at one of their resort hotels.
Oh, wait, one of their premier resorts?
Yes.
Like their version of deluxe resorts, which is the only
Excellent point.
Only resorts you can stay in at Disney.
Yeah.
And be able to even have the option to buy this.
Yeah, that's nuts. Elaborate. This is nuts.
If I'm a Universal PR guy, I am like, thank you very much, Disney. You just made my job of selling tickets so easy.
If I were Universal, I would promote that right now. Think about it. Because there's a lot of hype and a lot of people following that Universal Studios social media, us included. Think about if they came out with that ad right now.
They should be running this like a political campaign. I'm sorry. Like, hey, the guys across the street, the mouse down the road wants to make you stay at their deluxe resort for the opportunity to buy the thing that when you stay at ours, we give to you for free. And if you want to buy it, we allow you to buy it at those other ones. And by the way, it's cheaper. It's cheaper here.
Yeah.
Like Rob, hear this. $449 is the cheapest it will be at Magic Kingdom.
Oh, so I was off. That was a guess.
Per person per day.
Okay.
$449 is the low cost for Magic Kingdom. I'll pull up the actual park prices.
Sure. Let's see if I can find them too.
But like $129 is for Animal Kingdom. Can you imagine paying $129 for access to the myriad of different attractions you can go to in Animal Kingdom? There's 6 rides.
A quarter of the park is down.
There are 6 rides
I don't think it's a quarter, maybe.
Well, it's going to be. Yeah. When's Dinosaur closing?
Yeah. What percentage of the park is that, realistically? If we're not talking land, we're talking like actual
literally a third
walkable
of the park.
attractions. Yeah.
For attractions, it's a third of the park.
Yeah.
When you take away Dinosaur and you take away Triceratops Spin.
Right. If you take the total land, it's not. But if you just areas where guests can go, yes.
Well, I'm talking about like rideable rides.
Oh, okay, sure. If you're counting the actual
6 rides, right?
Yeah. So
you take 2 of the 6 out.
And they already took 1 away. I mean, that previous roller coaster was not terrible. Did you ever ride it?
I didn't. It was closed by the time my first time going.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty fun.
Look, I know you try to make it a positive. And I'm glad that there's an option now for somebody who's going once in their lifetime to do everything. But $450 per person per day at Magic Kingdom is absolutely criminal. That's criminal. That is highway robbery.
You found the prices easier than me. It's turning into a maze for me to find those prices. Do you have them?
I'll pull them up. It was because they only allow you to see the prices if you have an eligible reservation on My Disney Experience. So then somebody posted what the prices actually were.
That's why I can't find them.
Correct. Okay. I will find them while you're talking about while you're going through and talking about this. But I just want to I want to just say I feel like I feel like a bait and switch, like because I'm new to this. Relatively, right? 2019, I go down my first time.
Yeah.
Since 2019, it has been price increase after price increase. This now costs money. This now costs money. the thing that used to be free is now this. Look, I get it, but don't tell me that you don't know, or sorry, don't tell me that you can't allow me to buy. If I've bought Lightning Lane Multipass, don't tell me there's no available time slots. that's not true.
No, it's not true.
Because Premier Pass can walk up whenever the hell they want.
Anytime they want to. I'm glad you brought that up. I thought about this too. Again, my wife and I were watching the video, and this has to do with Universal. So at Universal, they just announced that they're going to be starting reservations for their new Epic Universe park. And what you have to do when you make this reservation is you have to make a reservation for 3 days for 3 parks. Okay, have you heard any of this yet, Nick?
Yes, I have.
Okay. But one of the interesting things is they say you don't need to make a park reservation. You can go to Epic Universe any one of those 3 days. Okay? With me still so far? What happens if everybody decides to go to that park on the same day, and all of a sudden, like, they have to turn people away? That's going to cause a lot of problems. But then they also, I think, feel free, I don't know this for a fact, feel free to jump in. I think that they're afraid to use the term reservation because that became such a hot button topic and the kind of the point of a lot of fire when Disney decided to do that. Do you
Correct.
think? Am I right?
No, you're right.
Okay. But I'm worried, and this is what I said to my wife. I go, man, like, what happens if let's bring this back to Disney, back to my point here. So what happens if everybody does that at Epic Universe at the same time? They're going to be overloaded. You got 3 parks worth of people all going to this brand new park. That's going to be a nightmare. Okay. Now let's bring it back to Disney again. Okay. What happens if everyone wants to do this multi-day premiere pass and you have 5 hotels worth of people all buying it?
Well, they say it's limited. They say it's limited. I put stress on they say.
Yeah.
Because Disney's never, I mean, they also say that, like, Lightning Lanes are limited too. I mean,
Yeah,
they sell them out.
But they didn't build 2 Trons next to each other. They didn't build multi-tracks.
No. What
they
I'm
don't
saying
build.
is,
but my point is that, like, there's only enough room for X number of people. You can't skip the line and get on something right now. If everybody is skipping the line, then it's just a line.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's wait time inflation.
I know.
I mean, like, when you
does. You're right. It goes back to economics. It really does.
It's a straight up economics question, right? If everybody has a way to pass the line, then nobody has a way to pass the line.
Right.
Yeah.
Then wait times. Oh my! This is 100%. Crazy.
So I've got the prices for you.
Sure.
Okay.
Yes.
So Lightning Lane Premier Pass, and I was wrong. Yeah. So I was wrong on one thing. Animal Kingdom is $129 on the low, $199 on the high.
And that'll change depending on Christmas time or
right.
What's September?
Yeah, July
October.
4th. Yep.
Right. I'm trying to think of your top and your bottom for
probably September, right after Labor Day.
Yeah.
That's plus tax, of course. Epcot is $169 to $249.
Okay.
Hollywood Studios is $269 to $349.
Interesting. Well, no, that makes sense. It'd be higher than Epcot.
And Magic Kingdom is $329 to $449.
Well, that's why I guessed 4, because I did see that price somewhere. And I was wrong at first, because when I first saw kind of the report from Disney, I looked at the kind of the low end and went, oh, well, that's not going to be that bad for Magic Kingdom. And then I saw, like, what the range was, because I think that low number I saw, I just associated with the pass costing that. So in the, a lower time of the year, again, let's just say September, maybe just the pass costs $150, right? Mm-hmm. But I didn't think of or take into account the price fluctuation based on what park and the availability. So for me, it was sticker shock to me to really see what that price was for Magic Kingdom and how it was the highest. It makes sense, but to me, that was like, whoa, holy bleep.
So I just looked at I just did the calculations. A family of 4, after taxes, will be paying about $1,425.
Okay. For what?
For the Lightning Lane Premier Pass.
For just that. Now keep going.
For just that.
Keep going.
But you also need to purchase your tickets for the
Yeah,
day.
that doesn't even include your tickets.
Which, if you're only going now, I know this would be an odd situation.
Yeah.
But to be honest, this is the only kind of person where buying this makes sense. Is you're only going for one day, right? So a daily ticket is about $200.
Yeah.
So now tack another $800. You're at $2,200 almost. And oh, by the way, sure, you get your photo lenses or whatever, and you get your ride photos.
Yeah.
Guess what you don't get? You don't get your regular photo pass because that's got to be an added cost too, the memory maker.
Yeah.
And that's at almost $200. That's $210. Like, at what point do you stop back and say, so Disney's and you're gonna hate this because you've all of a sudden become a Yankees fan, but
I was never a fan of anything before that.
no, I know, no, I'm not mad.
I just decided for the record, I just decided I liked baseball this last month.
Yes, and it's been an exciting month to watch baseball.
Yeah, I've loved it.
And you have family members who like the Yankees.
Oh
So
yeah,
that's fine.
big time. Yeah.
What I'm saying to you is, Disney's become the Yankees and the Dodgers of the theme park world. And
Yeah,
if you
that's a fair. I will agree. That's a fair comparison.
And what I mean by
Yes.
that is this:
I know what you mean.
when you watch a Yankees game and you watch a Dodgers game,
Yep.
look at the people you're looking at. You are looking at lawyers and doctors who are there for status.
Yeah.
They're there for status. That's why you go to the Dodgers games are notorious for being empty at the start and being empty at the end, because the people who show up are there just to be seen quickly with celebrities.
Right.
They show up for a little bit, they leave before the game's done. They're not actually there watching the game. Yankees are a little bit different, but you
made a good. Let me jump in. You made a good comparison to the Lakers. That's an even better one, with all the celebrities at the sideline.
I disagree.
Okay, explain that. No, I'm curious.
I disagree. I think the Lakers are a better comparison. The Dodgers have always been like this.
Okay.
The famous people there are ridiculous. Inside, they call this thing at a Yankee Stadium. There is a separator. They call it the moat. People who frequent Yankee Stadium call it the moat, because it's this literal like track that goes around the lower bowl.
Yeah.
It's like a concrete. Looks like you could fill it with water.
Really?
And on one side of it are the people who
No way.
like the games and paid
It's wild.
and paid like $150 for their ticket.
Yeah.
And on the other side of it are the people who pay $1,500 for their ticket.
Holy cow.
And the $1,500 seat ticket, they get to have someone come to their seat and bring them their hot dog. They can order from a little touch screen in front of them. They can watch other games on the TV that's in the back of the seat in front of them. Like, that's Disney now.
Yeah.
And
I'm just going to say that ties in perfect right now with
can't
Disney.
make fun of the people who spend that money for those games when I simultaneously plan a trip to Disney every year.
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah, you're
You
right.
can't do it. And it's ridiculous. Disney has made it really difficult to defend them. And I know there's people who think this is a great idea.
Yeah.
There are. And I don't get it. I just don't. It's tough to defend this decision.
This is crazy. I mean, it's again, I'm going to circle back to what we've said earlier. We really try to be positive when we can because we love this place. And I would say it's fair to say 90% of what we talk about is positive because we love it. It's a hard one. It's a hard one. It's because it's difficult for us as, middle-class workers to see this because it's such a, I don't want to say untouchable because we could do it. Like we could put on a credit card and pay it off, but it would be hard as heck to do. But it just, I don't know. It's a tough one. And I think you're leaning more towards, and please correct me if I'm wrong, you're leaning more towards the fact that it's just grabbing for extra money as opposed to, here's something we're offering for this group. It just looks bad. Am I right? That's the way, the way you're going?
The only groups they've been offering stuff to recently have been the people who can afford X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
They have not, like, I'm serious when I say that Universal should be running this like a political campaign.
Yeah.
Where it's just like,
Yeah.
The House of Mouse down the road did this.
Yep.
Check out what we do better.
Yeah.
Or like just having like a fake or an AI version of Bob Iger announcing stupid stuff.
They could too.
Yeah. Look, I know I'm going to get like messages on Instagram. The last time we did a relatively negative spin on things.
We're
with D20
trying. We've
was-
said the whole show. We're trying to, I started the second half with, hey, I enjoy the multi-pass because it's a game, it's a collection. Like,
I'm fine.
it's hard.
For the record, I'm fine with them charging for that service.
Yeah.
I will pay for it. I'm not fine with this ridiculous, crazy money grab here.
Yeah.
Like $100 and something at Animal Kingdom. At Animal Kingdom, let me read the attractions at Animal Kingdom just so we can actually.
If you can count them on one hand, I may throw up.
Okay, so here are the included attractions. I can't count them on one hand, but wait till you hear it.
Okay.
So Avatar, because they do include the Lightning Lane single pass are also part of this. So you do get
Good.
Okay, so you get that.
That's a bonus,
True. Avatar, Dinosaur.
which is gone soon. Do you want to count it or no?
Well, I mean, we can list it now
Okay.
because on the opening of it, they listed it.
Okay.
Expedition Everest. You ready for this one? Feathered Friends in Flight, because you need a Lightning Lane for that.
When it's open.
Festival of the Lion King.
When it's open.
Finding Nemo. It's Tough to Be a Bug. That's closing. Cali River Rapids. Kilimanjaro Safaris. Navi River Journey. So you have up 10 fingers, right? Now let's put down the ones that don't really matter. Okay? So we've got Feathered Friends in Flight. That's got to go down. Nemo's a huge auditorium or theater. That one shouldn't count. Honestly, I've never had an issue getting into Lion King, even if I show up right at the end. So that should go down. You're at 7? Okay, cool. Dinosaurs closing. Tough to Be a Bug's closing. 5.
Okay, now I get to throw up. I promised.
5. Like what? I would not pay that. So that's $129 on a cheap day for 5 attractions,
Wow.
which is what it will be by the middle of next summer. 5 attractions, $129.
Which one of those attractions, other than the one Avatar? Well, I guess both of them are decent weights. Which ones actually have a crazy weight? I would say Safari.
Depending on the time.
Both Avatar rides. Sometimes Kilimanjaro. No, Kilimanjaro I already said.
Expedition?
Everest, sorry.
Sometimes,
Yeah,
very rarely.
sometimes. Yeah.
I mean,
Which is crazy that it has such a short line.
Yeah,
but
it's a
such
great ride.
good ride.
so like, okay, let's pretend that you were going to get Avatar. You were going to get Flight of Passage. Let's pretend that.
Yeah.
So, okay, now it's down to $109 extra.
Yep.
Okay, let's pretend that you were also going to get Lightning Lane Multipass. So on a day for Animal Kingdom, let's say it's a super expensive day to Animal Kingdom and it was $25. It's not going to be.
Yeah.
Let's pretend it was $25.
Sure.
So let's call it $50 off. You would pay $79 extra to be able to walk into the lines of those other ones?
Where you can get, well, here's the one argument now. If I get I'm forgetting the names of these now. The multi-pass,
Yeah.
I can't include Flight of Passage on that.
Correct. But what I'm saying is you would have, so that's why I took both off. It's the $25 for multi-pass
Yeah.
and the $25 for Flight of Passage, both of which are over estimates of what it actually costs for those services at Animal Kingdom. So that's $79 extra just so you can ride those extra 4 rides.
Man, thank God we got a numbers guy on this podcast.
That's $20 extra per ride. Like what?
Jeez.
Oh, and by the way, you still have to buy your ticket to get in.
And food.
Yeah.
And souvenirs if you, if you're a
Hey, if
souvenir
you're
person, you
DVC
got
though,
kids.
well, if you're DVC and spent your $100 this year, you get to have a picture taken at the lounge. Like what?
Sweet.
What? I'm sorry. Like, I know that I'm going to come off as the negative Nancy here. When we did the D23.
Yeah, but I'm not the positive Poppy.
What?
I don't know.
But when we did D23, I kept trying to remind you, we weren't meant to see it. We weren't meant to see it. I was trying to be the positive one. I know you're trying to be the positive one today. I know I'm going to get
Well, I'm not though. I mean,
hate mail.
I'm trying.
But like, I'm interested. I want everybody who hears this, who has an opinion one way or the other, weigh in on this.
Yeah,
because
please.
this, I just feel like it's nonstop. One after the other after the other. We keep getting slammed with these stupid costs. And these costs are exorbitant. They are not just a little. They are like 400, Rob, 400. You went to Magic Kingdom during the holiday season.
Yes.
After Christmas. That is when the 440.
Yeah.
Could you imagine? Now, when you went on that trip, didn't you try to ride almost everything?
Yeah.
On that trip, and
we did everything but
Astro Orbiter, I thought, right?
Yeah, we did really well because.
And did you pay $449 for that privilege?
But I can't even tell you what service it was at that time. Oh my God!
It would have been fast. No, that was during.
No, it was the year before COVID, so it would have been. It was 2019.
So you would have had your 3 free fast passes.
Yeah,
that's what it would have been.
Yeah, right. And that's how we did it. Is we would use one, book another, use one, book another. That worked really well. And yeah, that day
so
we did everything.
It didn't cost you $449. It cost you $0.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool, Disney.
Yeah.
And oh, by the way, you too can have the opportunity to buy that, but you have to spend $1,200 a night on a hotel.
Yeah. See, that's the other issue too. Is that's not easy. Well, let's talk about a hack here before we wrap things up. Let's loop all the way back to the very beginning of the episode and let's talk about a hack. Here's a positive. Okay.
Yeah. Oh,
I know. Let's end with
I can
you know
almost
what I'm
guarantee
saying?
what your hack is. Go ahead.
So here's how we're going to end with a positive. Okay. When we went with Nick's family, I rented points from him. We talked about this at the beginning of the show. Maybe this is the hack. Maybe you get a decent price on a DVC rental at a moderate. What does Old Key West or
yeah.
What does it count as? A moderate or is
no,
it still a deluxe?
They're all deluxe.
So those two are the best price per point. I think you've explained that to me.
No,
can you get a decent rate there? For rental,
so prices per point are going to be the same no matter where you go,
but it's less points.
But it's less points. So Saratoga, so any of the old resorts and then Saratoga. So the old resorts would be Old Key West, Beach Club, which if you can get in, great. Boardwalk. Boulder Ridge, Copper Creek isn't old, but has the same point charts as Boulder Ridge. And then Saratoga. Those are the 6, I would say, with the lowest points per night chart. So what that means is that you could probably get a stay for a week for, let's call it 75 to 80 points in a studio. I could look it up right now and give you the exact numbers, but you could probably pull it off at a relatively quote-unquote cheap. I mean, when you stayed with us at the Poly, it would have cost you more to stay your entire vacation at Port Orleans than it did for you to stay at the Poly.
Yeah, because we rented.
You paid more in the 2 nights you stayed at Port Orleans per night than you did per night when you were at the Poly.
Yeah.
And that is a hack. And that's at the Poly. Or at Old Key West and those other ones, it's even cheaper. Because of less points per night.
Well,
so you are right. That is a hack. And that is a positive way.
It's a good positive. And if you're listening this far into the episode, A, we love you. We appreciate it. B, if you think, hey, this is cool, I want to learn more about this, let us know. We do an episode on this.
About DVC, yeah.
It's always interesting to me, and I really feel like I'm starting to wrap my head around it a little bit more because it's, it is confusing. For one of the first times, I remembered that we just talked about this, that points have a value and they don't, raise and lower. It's just how many points you have to spend for each resort.
It only took me 3 years.
Some are lower. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm finally getting it.
It took me 3 years of trying to teach you.
Yeah.
You figured it out.
But
it's confusing.
It is confusing.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not a numbers guy to begin with, but I don't think you have to be. I think you just need to know kind of that main part about it. And I'm getting off on a tangent. Let us know if you want us to talk more about that in this episode. Yeah. And again, we're trying to be positive here, and we appreciate our.
I'll be honest. I wasn't trying to be
listeners.
positive. I'm trying to be realistic.
No,
but I get it.
You are, and that's fine too. Let's end with this. We're going to go over right now and we're going to record. If you're a Patreon member already, you've probably already heard this, but we're going to hop over now and have a great conversation. If you'd like to hear more of this, please consider being a patron. It's not that expensive. Nick will give you the details in a second, but we're going to discuss a little bit more the whole situation with Cars Land and Tom Sawyer's Island and all that. So please, we invite you to come and join. It's not super expensive. Nick's going to give you the details right now. And again, thank you for listening, and we really do appreciate you guys. So you want to do that, and then we can wrap up here?
You can go to www.patreon.com and for the /DizlessPod for less than the cost of Cup of coffee a month. You can get early access to new episodes and bonus content weekly. So we would love to see you over there. And again, you can sign up for free, and that's always cool too. We'll add you to our close friends list over on Instagram. But it's a great, big, beautiful tomorrow, and tomorrow is just a list away.
Tune in next time, and we'll see you real soon.